I'm Krishna. I'm having 10 years of industrial experience working for a global MNCs. Let's quickly do recap and then we'll go on to agenda. Okay. So someone can take and summarize that what we have discussed.
We discussed about Snowflake marketplace.
Snowflake marketplace, correct?
Where we have like two entities, provider and consumer.
Correct. Provider and consumer will have. Okay. Yeah.
Then
Who are the providers and who are the consumers?
Provider is someone who shares the data. It can be paid one or a free one.
Yeah, share the data. It could be an individual or it could be a firm or entity, whoever it could. Okay. Consumer means?
The one who consumes the data.
Consumer means one who uses the data, right? Who consumes the data, okay, by paying money, okay, paying fees for the data, or requesting them whether it is for a free of cost or some are will be available for free of cost and some you have to pay it. So pay will be also based on the usage. So it could be lifetime free for you, or is going to be a real-time data pay for you. So the money from the company to company will be different. So that will be decided when they are listing their data. Okay. So there is a one more option called as a listing. So you can, as an individual, you can also list your data in your Snowflake marketplace. Okay. You can list. So while you're listing, what you need to do is for publishing this data onto your marketplace, you have to fill all the details for a listing information, and then you have to publish it. Okay. You can publish it for a free, you can publish it for a paid versions. Okay. So what else we discussed?
Information schema.
Oh, yeah, information schema. Okay. What is information schema?
This is the schema where there are no tables, only views will be present.
So this information schema will maintain all the metadata information. Okay. Yeah. Who will generate this information schema? Who will maintain this?
Snowflake. It's
Snowflake.
Okay. Snowflake itself will maintain this all the time. Okay. When it will get created?
When the account was created, so the time it will be default, it will be created by Snowflake.
Yes. By default it will get created, so you don't need to do any kind of schema creations or anything. Okay, so whenever your account is created, information on account level information schema will get created for you, and whenever you create a schema also on a schema level also, you will be getting two schemas. By default you will be getting two schemas. Out of it, one is an information schema which will be having all your metadata information. What is another schema?
public.
Okay. So in public, you can able to create your own, tables, views, whatever. If you want to create, you can create it, or you can create your own schema which makes sense for your company, right? So as per your departments, as per your current work, so you can create respective schemas and you can create tables under it. So that it's a good way of maintaining it. Okay, that we have discussed information schema. So what kind of information will be available under information schema? What kind
views,
of
table functions?
Instead of directly functions, right? The functionality will not be available. Okay, the actual functionalities will not be available. So under information schema, right? So let's quickly go and see that. Okay, so I'll take you here. Okay, let's go.
And Krishna, can we create an account in Snowflake or we should wait?
You can create it. You should have created yesterday, but that's fine. Create it today also.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, under information schema, you will be seeing many views which will be already created by a Snowflake for you. Okay, here you will be getting an information of what exactly you're doing on your account. Okay, so you are created many databases. So what are all the databases available? So you have created so many tables. In each table, what are all the columns are available? That information will be there. But your actual information, so I'm going to select actual tables or whatever you're going to create, that will be available under your schema. Okay, so whatever you're going to work, okay, whatever you're going to work on your account, right, that will get listed into information schema automatically. Okay, so how can you able to get that information? How could you see that information is storing in information schema? Is with the help of these views. Okay, if you have created any functions, so functions information, you can come in here. You can create any file formats, which is to read your files. which is in an external storage or an internal storage, which help you here. Okay, so if you are loading some data into some tables, load history, what are the copy commands you have used, how you have loaded the data, is there any failures happen, how much data being loaded into each file, so that all information will be available like this. Okay, so metadata will be available here, but your actual artifacts and everything will be created under your actual schemas. Okay, so that eventually when we going forward, when we are running this, we will be learning that. Okay, so that's good. So what else we discussed?
So the worksheet, SQL worksheet and Python worksheet. There are two types of worksheet.
So we have seen a UI. What is our UI? What is this UI?
Snow site.
Okay, this worksheets or whatever the UI we are working right now is a snow site. Okay, so we will be learning snow site. Okay, snow site is the latest UI. Okay, so hardly 3-4 months or probably 6 months before it's been released. Okay, and hardly people are started using from a 3-4 months before we call it as a classic console. Okay, let me see if the classic console is still being opening for us. I think classic console is not there. Let me quickly see. Classic console, where is the settings? Yeah, classic console has taken out. It's not here. So usually what happens is here you will be seeing a classic console also will be there. Okay, what type of console will be available? So you will be seeing a classic consoles. So some of the companies, right, still using a classic consoles for their production servers. Okay, looks similarly. So this looks little fancy because this have a lot other additional features are available. Okay, so we will start learning from here. Classic console is not showing. It's been deprecated now. Okay, so now going back. So we have seen Snowside. So we will be learning going forward SnowSQL, and we will be learning Snowpark also, right? So these are all the things which are going to come in future. So now we are learning on a Snowside how we are able to going to create it. Okay. Worksheets are two types of worksheets we have it. So two types of worksheets is one is a SQL worksheet and one is a Python worksheet. Okay. So integrators, right? So what are all the types of languages you can write and connect to the Snowflake? Okay, so you can write any languages. You can write SQL, okay, Python, Scala, okay, or you can say Node.js, okay, and then what else is there? There are many other languages like this, so you can able to write these languages to connect to the Snowflakes, okay, and also not only this one, Snowflake can be connected using a JDBCs and ODBCs. So people who are working with the third-party tools, right? So they want to connect with this Snowflake, right? How they will connect is they will be connecting using a JDBC and ODBC. Okay, JDBC is nothing but the Java database connectors. ODBC is nothing but a open database connectors. Okay, so what happens is these are just a connectors. We don't need to worry about it. This will be like a connection details you will be providing, and you'll be connecting from a third-party tools. Okay, so let me take. Yeah, so Soumya, I got it. This is something like a paid version for me. Okay, that's the reason I got it. I got it for 120 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a different version. Okay, so go with free trials. You don't need to pay anything. Okay, so we will create multiple accounts if needed, and we will start practicing in that. Okay, so yeah, what else we discussed? Anything else we discussed? What are the 3 layers we have it in Snowflake? What is 3-layered architecture in Snowflake?
Database layer.
Sorry, what is that?
Storage layer.
Can we come from what is the first layer?
Cloud service layer.
Cloud services layer. Okay.
Compute layer.
Compute.
Okay. Compute layer
Storage.
and storage layer. Okay. So other names for this is right. Metadata layer. Okay. Compute called as in a virtual warehouse layer or virtual warehouse layer or warehouse layer. Anything is fine. Okay. And storage layer is anyway storage layer. Okay. Final all your actual data will get stored in your last layer. Okay. So I think this is very important. Don't forget this ones. Okay. And components, right? Certification perspective, what are all the components comes under cloud services? Okay. a transaction manager, optimizer, authentication and access control, metadata, what else we have it, security. So this all comes, what are all the factors are there under a cloud services is very important to remember. Okay, so when we are learning virtual warehouse, we will understand more details of a types of virtual warehouses, what are the standards and the economy of onboarding it, auto scale it, this all we will discuss. But this one, which is very important, they will be asking a direct questions. Okay, here it will be a little bit of pre-calculated answers they will be asking you, but here it is going to be a direct answers. Okay, so what else we have discussed? Anything else we're missing?
Krishna, sorry, I missed. What is this Java, SQL, Python, Scala,
What are all
Node.js?
the languages you can
Connection?
be able to write and connect to the Snowflake is something you can write any languages like this. You can connect to Snowflake.
Oh, we can write a code in Scala,
Yeah, you
Python,
can.
Java also.
Yeah, you can write a Java, JavaScript. You can write SQL. There are many more actually. I just don't remember that. So there are many more.
If at all, if I want to connect a different systems, so how that works? JDBC or ODBC connection?
Yes. So if you want to,
That's only option. Okay.
from anywhere you
And in case if I want to connect to Informatica, IICS,
JDBC.
or no, all JDBS only.
JDBC. Okay.
Okay.
So Informatica IICS, right? So IICS, if you talk about IICS, it's a cloud, right?
Correct.
Here, what you can do is directly you can give you a JDBC. So JDBC is anyway important. JDBC within a hot strings you can give it. So directly you can pass the credentials, everything. It will directly connect via cloud itself or internet. It will get connected. Okay.
Okay. Sure. Got it. Yeah.
People who didn't get this right, these are all third-party tools. How it is get connects with the Snowflakes. Okay. So let's go on today's topic. Anybody have any questions on the topics we discussed till now? Okay, so whatever we discussed till now is all the basic and how. So before we start, we need to understand, right, how the environment or the landscape, how it is going to work on a Snowflake. Okay, so today onwards, we're going to discuss about the actual topics and the features of it, everything. Okay, so what we do is today's agenda is we will understand the types of tables. Okay, tomorrow we will create the tables and those tables will create in a format of facts and dimensions. Okay, and we'll create each type of table and we'll try to understand how it works. Okay, so in a Snowflake, right, there are totally on an official note or any training centers you go, they will be talking about 4 tables. Okay, let's discuss about few other tables. Okay, which we are pure, some are in a preview state and some are in a actually latestly released a month back or something like that. Okay, so first one table called as we will call it as a temporary table. Okay, so first table called as a temporary table, next called as a transient table. Okay, next one called as a permanent table. Okay, permanent table, and next one called as a let's call permanent table temporary table, and then let's call it as an external table. Okay, and then next one call it as a dynamic tables, which is released just 2 months back. Okay, officially released 2 months back. And sixth one is an iceberg tables. Okay, which is still in a preview. We will just understand theoretically. Okay, it's very important. Now you can see Apache. Okay, Apache, right? So Apache company, everyone knows Apache company, right? So Apache company has came up with an Apache iceberg tables. Okay, a lot of companies now, right? LLMs now, a lot of AWS, Azure, a lot of companies are going to come up with this iceberg tables. Okay, so we'll understand what is this iceberg tables are. Okay, I don't say anything. This is not a rocket science they have implemented. This is something which is like in a hive tables only. If anybody have knows things, how hive tables only, but how it works on a cloud is something is a different. Okay, so this is also we will understand. Usually these things will not be get covered when you are going outside or somewhere. People will not cover because these are very latest news. Okay, so now there are this different many tables are available. What cases we will be using what tables and what is the table, what is the difference are the prominence of in each table we need to understand over here. Okay, so let's understand one after one and the difference. Okay. And then what I'll do is I will start putting the details over here. Okay. Let's put type of the tables. Okay. Understand temporary table. Okay. So let's put as a definition. So now I'll go back. So what is a temporary table? Okay. So what you can think, what is a temporary table?
Temporary table, it's like basically used for temporary usage.
So what
It's
is
a session-based table.
What
like
is
state
Pulls
stable
data.
or truncate load,
Intermediate results are stored in the table.
intermediate.
Okay, intermediate table, that's fine. Intermediate table. So it gets truncate and load all the time. So that is good. So what else can think of?
Session-based table. Once session closed, table also will go.
Okay. So in which environment you can say this is session-based table? So in which technology you used this as a session-based table?
Like it's like we don't save basically. It's in the temp location. Once that particular session is closed, table also will closed.
Have you
In
ever
Microsoft SQL, we use this temporary tables.
All the related RDBMS.
Sir, temporary table doesn't actually occupy the storage of the available storage.
Okay, no storage. Okay, no storage. So no storage, the reason is no storage of my data because the reason is the first point. This is the major point. Okay. So let me tell you something. So what happens is temporary tables, okay, are called as a session based tables. Okay. What is a session based tables? Okay. So now what is happening is now I'm going to create this particular page. Okay. I'm just going to create this. Okay. So now I have opened a particular worksheet now. Okay. This whole worksheet will start creating as in a one session for me. Whatever I run on top of this particular worksheet, right? It works as a one session for me. Okay. So let me, what I'll do is I'll simply create a table. Okay. I'll be creating under sales. Let me select it as a sales. Under sales, I will be creating. Okay. Select. There is no tables, right? So let's create a table. So let's call as a sales. Again, I'm creating as a sales only. Okay. I'm just giving sales ID as varchar. Okay. So now I have created this particular sales table. Okay. So I'm not yet creating this one. So I create the sales table and I'll start loading the data inside this one. And what happens is this is a table gets created. We know, everyone knows this is a simple SQL, right? So it's creating a table and we are going to load the data inside this one. It is going to store a data. Okay. So what happens is, even though this session gets killed means I'll kill it manually. I'll close this. Whenever I manually close it, what happens is this session will get closed for me. Okay. So let me explain you what is the sessions also here. Okay. First thing, I'm creating a table. Okay. I'm creating a table. So table got created for me. Let's come here. Yeah, the table under tables got created for me. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go and see whether what is there any data being loaded for me and what kind of session it got created. Okay. So let me go back. Instead of going back, right? Select start from, okay, query. Okay, let me, instead of going here, let me quickly go. I'll open another window. Okay. Okay. I have created, you see here, I have created a one just query. Okay. So it got generated some details for me. Okay. You see, it got created some details for me. Let's open this. Okay. It got created in a session ID for me. If you see here, it created a session ID. I'm copying this session ID. Okay. I'm just copying the session ID. I'm going back to my worksheets. Okay. This is my worksheet. This is the session ID it used. Okay. Very important to remember also. So because a lot of things can be optimized using the session ID. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a data. Insert into sales. Okay. Values. Inside of values, I'm going to put just in a 1 by 1. Okay. and I'm inserting the data. Okay, the record got inserted now. The record got inserted now. I'm just going back and I'll check my session for this. Okay, so let me go here. I have loaded the data. You see, I have done the session ID also from here. So let me copy it. Okay. Okay, now you see these two are equal, right? Okay, so now whatever I'm trying to run on particular screen on this particular worksheet. Okay, so every query which I'm running on this particular worksheet maintains the same session. Okay, very, very important. Okay, don't miss whatever you're trying to run from this particular worksheet is going to generate the same session. Okay, now I'm quickly opening another worksheet. I'm going.
Krishna, you can keep appending. That means.
What is that?
See, now we created, then you inserted, right?
Yeah.
So likewise, I can keep inserting 100 records. Likewise, I can keep doing that, right?
Yeah,
so this worksheet will keep appending, right? So for me, the next point is if like in other systems, do you have any version control or something to check whether what all changes have been done to this session ID?
You can go to these details. Okay, there is no version control, right? So you can say there is a time travel, you can go ahead. There is no version control of maintaining it, but this session will able to explain you how many records you have loaded. So this will tell you what exactly you have loaded and how many records got loaded. Okay. And
so in this admin queries too, right? Can I filter on session ID?
Yeah, you can filter on session ID.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
You can able to query this. Okay. I'll go to
See,
the
because
queries.
I'll be working and somebody else log in and do some changes to this worksheet, and I won't have the tracking, right? So in that case, I just wanted to know how to track it if any changes has happened or not.
Yes. Yeah, you can track it like this. You can go to each query in that particular session and I can able to understand what are all the being identified. Okay, so you can able to easily identify what who loaded. So if you see here you can go. You can see the ID also, right? So let me quickly show that. Okay, here it is being loaded by this guy.
Got it.
Okay, so now you can able to understand what all is who are all is doing what they are doing it.
Activities on this task.
Activities on this particular page. Okay.
Okay.
So now let me go back. Okay. So let me share that. So to just make you understand, saying that whatever worksheet you're working on, whatever queries you're running over here is going to maintain the same session. Okay. So if I run something on an external, another worksheet, now I have just opened another worksheet and I have going to insert a one more two. Okay. I'm just selecting my databases. Okay. And I'm running this. Okay. So it got executed. I will just quickly show you guys that it got changed that worksheet or not. So the session ID. So the session ID is this one. So let me go back and compare it. Okay. So this is the new session ID is got created. Okay. So if you see each worksheet works as in a one session, very, very important. Okay. So what happens is when you go, when you start running from an ETL, people will be running from a Python, writing a Python code, writing from a different code. So how it behaves the session ID, right? So very, very important for the people who are, in future, they integrate ETLs with, Snowflake, right? What happens is now you are manually running everything on a single screen for your learning purpose. Okay. So you are running in a one worksheet. So one worksheet is equals to one worksheet is equals to one session. Okay. If you close this worksheet, your session got killed. Okay. But ETLs, right? What ETLs will be doing in ETLs, not only ETLs, any Python code or anything, what they do is first they will connect, they will run a one select statement that is called as a create. Okay. Anything apart from a worksheet, okay, a manual worksheet, anything apart from a manual worksheet, if you run it from anywhere outside, okay, outside this window, right? So every query will create, okay, every query will create one session for every query. Okay. So what happen is every query when you execute from an outside example, I have written a Python code. Okay. From Python, I have connected to Snowflake and I executed my create statement. Create statement will create a new session within a Snowflake and it will create a session. Okay, so next, after creating, I want to insert a data into the table. So when it is again connects to the Snowflake, it creates a new session. Old session will get completed. Okay, after successfully completion of a query, the session will get closed if you run it from outside of your Snowflake UIs. Okay, only Snowflake UI have this flexibility. Very, very important question for the certifications. Okay, and also
Krishna, can you repeat this if you don't mind? Sorry.
yeah, so yeah, let me tell you. Okay, so what happened is now I'm into worksheet now, right? So let me copy this one. Okay, so go back here. So what happened now? I'm into Snowflake worksheet. Okay, so we are into Snow site and a Snowflake worksheet. I have opened a worksheet and I started running multiple queries on a single worksheet. Okay, so every query when you run it from a worksheet, same worksheet. Okay, same worksheet. And now I'm going to put it as a learning. Okay, so from the same worksheet when I run it, so what happened is every query in this worksheet is going to maintain a same session ID. It opens a session. Okay, it closes the session when you close this. Okay, but think that you have written a Python query, Python statement, Python query, sorry, Python's code. Okay, so in this Python code, what you have written a data frame. So in this data frame, you have written select start from your, sorry, create table. Okay, so you have a query ID cursor. Okay, cursor. So you have written saying that, okay, create a table, and then you have another cursor, another cursor one. So where you have written a select query. Okay, so like this in your Python, you have a two commands which is connecting to Snowflake. Okay, what happens is every query, okay, every query, it could be a DML, DDL, DCL, TCL, whatever it could be. Okay, so every query will start generating in a one session. Okay, it when this query started running, it creates a session. After the query is completed, the session will get closed. Okay, when the next query executes, it will create a new session, it will execute and it will closes the new session again. Okay, no queries will share the same session, and there is no way that you can able to demand to run your queries only for that particular session. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so now only thing is now you can see that, try to understand in a single worksheet when I run it, everything is started generating a same session ID. That's we have all seen. Okay, when I run that particular another query from a different sheet, it started generating me a different query. That means a single worksheet always maintain a session query. If there is anything which we run in a different sheet, is going to be a different session ID. Okay, so keep this in mind when we are learning in a SnowSQL, right? So in a SnowSQL, in a Python, when we're running, I'll show this one, how each query. Okay, so what happens is I want to tell you one optimization, but that's very quick right now to say it. But when the situation comes, I'll tell you. Okay, that's a real-time problem. What people will be doing is they will be writing a multiple queries in a Python queries, or in Informatica or in a different places. What they do is they will write a multiple queries in a single workflows or a single code sessions. What happens is every statement will have to start a session, close a session. Okay, think that it might take a milliseconds. Opening and closing take a milliseconds, but every query takes a milliseconds over there, which might be costing unnecessary time for you. Okay, for that reason, what is the best way to do it? Okay, so that's a one optimization technique how you can able to do it, that we will discuss. Okay, but for now, anybody have this question on this one? One worksheet maintains a one session. Anybody have question on this? Okay,
So I don't understand, like, what is the significance? Because every user has that UID, right? URID. So if is it to track the who did what, or is just like that's how, like, it's just
now
an
you want to
information.
understand. Now you want to have sessions, right? What is the help of the session is in a single session. Okay, now as you are Soumya, you are working on it. Okay, so in a single session, the session ID. So now let me tell you, I'll write a one more query that makes you more sense. Okay, select start from information schema dot query history. Okay, let me put this into a table format. Okay. So let me put, this is an account level I'm seeing. Okay. So now you got this all information. Okay. So now people will ask you, there are a lot of billings happening. Okay. So there are a lot of billings happening. Now someone asks you, your admin team or your team has came admin activity. This is a purely admin activity, not a developer activity, right? So admin activity, he got a request saying that there is a lot of billing happening on a Snowflake. Okay. Can you get me that? What is the, which session has been costed more to me? Which session number of queries been executed for me? Okay. So then what happened is he got information saying that there is a every query is going to generate a session. Okay. Now what I'll do is, if I want to get how many number of queries been executed in a single session. Okay. The count star of, you say session ID. Okay. I'll go here, group by, okay, session ID. Now I got this. Okay. Now this particular session is having a 5 queries. Okay. Now we will easily get to know this particular session is something which is costing you a lot. Okay. Who executed this particular, session ID? Get that person in details and talk to him why he is running this many queries in this session. Okay. So this is purely for an admin activity to understand in each session how much money is going to generate. Okay. Session specific, how much queries you executed, session specific, how many things is been executing for you. So there are many other use cases with the session ID. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me, what is the open table format? Recently I heard that is related to Snowflake. Yeah. So Azure, this is an open table format is, so this is, if you see here, right? This is information query history. Query history is a one another view like this information schema, right? You see there is a views like this, no? Similarly, query history is for account level. Okay. Remember this is very important. On account level, if you want to understand what are all the queries being executed. Okay. So this query history is the view. This is also a view. This is not a table. Okay. This view, what will happen is this view will help you to get all the information like this. Okay. So, and then what will happen is in this particular view, the data will be in unstructured way. Okay. You don't see it. Okay. You don't see it. So now you want to read it in a tabular format. When you want to read it in a tabular format, so what will happen is you will be providing this table. Okay. It's actually what we will call it as it's in a tabular user defined function. Okay. So I don't want to go in details right now. Okay. There is two details are there. One is this one and TUDF. Okay. UDF, singular UDF and a tabular UDF. So tabular functions is nothing but when you mention this table like this something, right? So what happens is it will get you the data in a tabular format. Okay, whatever the information you're passing, it's a one kind of a tabular user functions. So we will see this answer when we are going it. For now, you remember that information schema is where your metadata will get stored. If you want to get all your tables history, so queries history, whatever the query been executed throughout your account. Okay, so how can you get it is you have to remember this particular function, which is called as a query history, query underscore history. Okay, so to read this data, how you need to do is you have to add a table to it because it's a tabular user defined function. Okay, this is also one very important. Okay, so in interviews, right, they will be asking, can you get what are all the queries which executed for more than 5 minutes? Okay, and from where you get it. Okay, so they might not look for the exact columns you are writing, they will be exactly expecting this you are going to write it. Okay, so I'll copy this. I'll keep it here. Very important to keep it in mind. Okay. Okay. So we just deviated a bit from a temporary. Okay. So let me go back to this one. Now session we understand. Okay. Now why we came to this session is we mentioned temporary table is a session specific table. Okay. That's the main reason we jumped onto this all information. Okay. What is session? Now can I call this worksheet is a one session? Is everyone agree that point?
Yeah, Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah, Krishna. Yes.
So now what I'll do is I'll create a table. Okay, I'll create a table. Sorry, create a temporary table. To create a temporary table, we have to use a word called as a temporary. Okay, spelling temporary table. Okay, and then I'm going to create in a sales underscore temp table. Okay, so simply same thing, I'm going to create it. Okay, so now I'm going to create this temporary table. So whenever you're going to create a temporary tables, you have to explicitly use a word called as in a temporary. Okay, so now I'm going to create this table. Okay, table got created for me. Let's check this out. Okay, so I'm going to refresh this page. Okay, it got created for me. Temporary table got created for me. Okay, so now I said it's in a temporary table. So I say it's a session specific table. That means this particular table is specific to this particular session only. Okay, that means I'll try to load this data from a different session. Okay, because this table, this session, right? This table is created by this particular session. It is belongs to only this particular worksheet. Okay, if I try to load the data into this table, okay, I will just go here and see whether the table visible to us. Okay, table itself is not visible to me for me in this session. Okay, let's ignore that and try to select the table if we can able to select it from a different session. Okay, I'm trying to select this table. Okay, it says that this particular table is not there. Okay, I'll take the same query, go back to this particular session, and I will be executing this. Okay, it says 0 records are there. There are no records. It doesn't throw me any error because I could still see this one. Okay, so now you can able to understand this particular table is something is session specific, which cannot be accessed in any other sessions. Okay, so it is a session specific, and the table, okay, can't be or cannot be accessed apart from that particular session. Okay, so everyone understand this question, this point? Okay, next one, session specific. As soon as I kill this session, I won't be seeing this particular table will be available at all for me. Okay, now also you can see in this session there is no table at all because this is session specific, which is only available in this session. Okay, so when I close this one, okay, I have closed this one and I opened another worksheet. Okay, there is no sales temp table. There is no sales table. That particular session is closed forever. You cannot open that session. You cannot get the table back also. Okay, so those are called temporary tables. That means once the session is closed, okay, is closed, the table will be dropped automatically from that session. Okay, and it cannot be, okay, retrieved. Okay, you cannot retrieve it. Okay, so is that make sense to these 2 points? Anybody have confusion here? Okay, so next one, right? There is a time travel concept. Okay, time travel and failsafe. I don't go more details, but I'll give you a definition because every table will be designed based on this time travel and a failsafe. Okay, time travel is nothing but, okay, if there is any changes happened on your table, okay, in past. So example thing that this table I have created, not a temporary table, actual table, some table I have created, sales table. In that table, what happened is Soumya made changes. Okay, Soumya made changes on January 1st. That is yesterday she made a changes. Okay, before that December 31st, I made some changes on top of it. Okay, not on top of it. There was a December 31st, I made a changes. On top of my changes, Soumya made some other changes. Now, Soumya, whatever changes she made, which is wrong. Okay, she has made updates, she has deleted some records, she made something, you know, something on the table. Okay, those all the changes she made is the wrong things. Okay, now we both discussed and Soumya, we both agreed saying that, yeah, there is some mistakes in that changes. What we need to do is we have to revert back the table how it was before on December 31st. Okay, so that means if you want to go in the past, if you want to time travel into the past, okay, and bring that shape of the data, Okay, so now we are until January 2nd, right? We are into January 2nd. Now on January 2nd, we decided saying that whatever the changes you made on a January 1st is wrong. And I want to get that information which was there on a December 31st. Okay, that means if you see, I'm going back to the dates. I'm going into the past. Okay, I'm time traveling to the past. Okay, and then I'm going to get this particular information what was there on the December 31st. I'm going to change my table to have what it was like on a December 31st. Okay, so that is called as a time travel. Okay, time travel means if you want to make any changes, past changes, right? It could be you have dropped a table. So example, on 31st there was a table. On first, Soumya has dropped the table. On second, we decided we need the table. Okay, then I want to bring back the table to be available in my database. Means then what I'll do is I'll travel back to my, in past, and I'll bring the table back. Okay, it doesn't mean we have to really go back and do it. We have to run some particular commands to get it done. Okay, so we will learn how to run that commands. Okay, so when we come into the concept of time travel, we will learn there is a different 3 kinds of commands we need to run. 3 kinds of commands we can able to run it. Okay, so we will learn that. But what is a time travel? You guys understand what is time travel now? Anybody have questions on this one? Snowflake is the first, cloud data warehouse has introduced a time travel. Later in point in time, only Databricks copied it. Okay, so anybody have question on this time travel? Okay, I take, yeah.
Krishna, time travel is based on table level only, or is there any
Table
other?
level only. Our time travel is always based on a table level. Okay, so because we are trying to read the data, right? So we want to bring the data ship. So data will always stores in a table.
Okay.
So you always talks with the table only.
Okay, thanks.
Right, so always when you're dealing with the data where it gets stored inside a table. So you always the time travel applicables to your tables. Okay.
Okay.
What is a fail safe? So fail safe is nothing but a second disaster place we call. Okay, so or we can say that there is a something happened, fail safe, right? So everyone knows we have a locker. Locker is nothing but a fail safe for us. Okay, so what happens is a fail safe is nothing but, so think that you have unexpectedly deleted something. Okay, so something like you have deleted a table and you forgot the table is being deleted. Okay, so then what happens is Snowflake company for every table with some additions, enterprise edition or whatever additions we are going to use it, right? So for that additions, they will give you a fail safe. What is a fail safe means? Think that you have deleted a table. Okay, so what happens is Snowflake team will not, flush this table as soon as you deleted it. Okay, what they do is they will make this table move into, okay, fail safe area for 7 days. Okay, so the maximum time travel is for the 90 days. Okay, the fail safe is for the 7 days. Okay, remember these numbers, very important. Okay, important to understand for a certification, not for the interviews. If you miss this numbers is totally fine. Okay, so fail safe, what happens is they'll move this table for a 7 days in a fail safe. Okay, so if you deleted the data on a January 1st, you removed the table. Okay, you remove the table and you still have a 7 more days. You can able to get back the data table back into your schema. But once if you want to move the data back from a fail safe to your databases means you cannot directly do it. There are no commands directly you can able to run and get the data from your fail safe. What you need to do is you have to raise a ticket with the Snowflake team. Okay, and inform say incident with the Snowflake team, by mistake we have removed this table. We need this particular table to be available in our databases. Okay, then what will happen is Snowflake team will take that incident and they will assign a team. That team will work on that particular table and get back the table into your databases. Okay, which is a chargeable to you. So what they do is if you go with an agreement with a Snowflake, they will give you this many incidents you can able to raise with us. We will support for you. Okay, free of cost. After this count, there will be a cost for the each incident. They will go with that agreement, whatever the agreement they want to go with. Okay, so if you go for many years, there will be a discount. If you go for less years, there will be high in cost. Like that, companies will deal with the Snowflake companies. Okay, so failsafe will help you to do what it will do is it will help you. Snowflake by itself will be able to maintain for you in a 7 days. Within that 7 days, if you realize that particular thing is needed, Snowflake team will help you to get the data from your failsafe. Okay, this failsafe also differs from the edition you are going to use it. Okay, what is the editions we have? We have 4 editions, right? Standard we have, and then we have an enterprise, we have a business critical and a virtual. Okay, private one we have it, right? So based on the edition your company is choosing, your failsafe will get activated and your time travel will also will get activated. Okay, so that difference we will see it now. Okay, now temporary table, right? For temporary table, the time travel will be 1 day. Okay, the default will be 1 day. What is that 1 day, right? So now what is this 1 day, Krishna? As soon as you close this session, anyway, it is going to remove, right? What is this 1 day over here? Okay, what is this 1 day is your session can leave for a 24 hours. Okay, after your 24 hours, your session got automatically will get closed. Okay, and then your temporary table also will get dropped. Okay, that's the reason they will say by default your temporary table is going to get a 1 day time travel and there is no fail safe. Okay, temporary tables, there is no fail safe. Once the temporary tables are being automatically dropped after your session, those tables will never go move into a fail safe for a 7 days. Okay, so that means if you have created any temporary tables and you lose the tables, there is no chance of getting back the table. Okay, what is the project purpose of this temporary tables? Okay, so someone has already said intermediate data. Okay, so you are calculating something. Okay, you have a very lengthy query, many tables. You're dealing with the 10 tables. Okay, so what you need to do is you have to load some pre-calculated data into some tables. Okay, and that tables are not needed after your query is being executed. In that cases, what you can able to do is you can create a temporary tables. Temporary tables are cost effective, right? So as soon as your session is completed, so temporary tables are going to be dropped. Okay, so temporary tables are going to drop. You don't need to worry the tables are being present for because session completes, that will be completed. No additional storage for that. So because once the session is completed, there is no additional storage for it. Okay, and this temporary tables, whoever is created that session, right? They are the owners for the table. No one can able to access the particular temporary table for us. Okay, not outside that session. Okay, and next one, once the session is closed, automatically it gets closed and it cannot be reverted. Okay, time travel for the temporary table by default it's 1 day. Okay, until that session is been leaving, that temporary table will be available. That session is closed. After that, your temporary table automatically closed. Okay, and there is no failsafe. Very important 2 points over here. It is what is a temporary table, time travel and failsafe is a very important. Okay, let's put that into a table format. Okay, so here I'm putting it as a session specific table. Okay, definition is a session specific table. Time travel is a 1 day. Okay, failsafe is a 0 days. Okay, okay, so use case only for a intermediate data. Okay, intermediate data which can be regenerated. Okay, so by mistake, if this is also dropped, so you should know the logic. How can you regenerate that particular value again? Okay, in this cases, your temporary table will be used. Okay, so is this make sense to everyone? Anybody have question? Very important for interviews and for certification perspective. Anybody have questions here?
Krishna, what is TT and FS?
Time travel and failsafe. Let me write it.
Okay.
Just
intermediate data which can be regenerated. But we can generate within 1 day, right? As time travels.
Not the table, I mean to say, like, see, you have generated a table, temporary table. Okay, and you loaded the data also into the temporary table. Okay.
Okay.
Close that temporary session and with table is gone. Right?
Okay.
But you will be having a query which you use to load the data. Right? If you have that query handy, you can recreate this temporary table. What is wrong with that?
Okay.
Okay. So in that cases, you can use your temporary table. Always good. Okay.
Sure.
Anybody have questions on this?
So
So,
Krishna,
but you were showing the you were showing the history, right? Of the query runs. So we can't get it from there, or what does that
So this
mean? It
is just about what are all the queries you executed. It's a metadata again.
okay.
That's not an actual data. So select, right? So this information schema, whatever comes into information schema, right? So blindly, it's a metadata. There is nothing to do with actual functionality of it. Okay. Okay, this is just a metadata. You'll get only the metadata information in this one. Okay. So you don't get anything from here. You will get what are the queries being executed, what database, from which database it is being executed, what kind of type, what it is query type, okay, when it is executed, what session it is being done, how much time it is executed. Those all details you will be getting from here. Okay. Anybody have questions on this?
Krishna, instead of recreating the temporary table using time travel, I can go back to the last status before it got deleted, right?
But there is no time travel for temporary tables.
Okay.
Okay. So very important, right? Time travel
No,
is
but you have mentioned 1 day, right?
after session is, if session is alive, if you are not killing your session is alive, this temporary table will leave only for 1 day. That is a 1 day. Okay. Session will get closed automatically after 24 hours. Okay. So after 24 hours, your session automatically closed means your temporary table is gone. There
So
is no time travel. You not go back.
Even though if you log out and log in again, you mean to say that session will still exist?
No, log out and log in. No, that is also gone. There is no log out, login. That session, once you log out also, the session will get closed.
Okay, so now then you can get it back, the temp table, without creating it.
No, you won't get it. Temp table also it automatically drops.
Okay.
Okay. So just remember that your session, till what time you are working on that particular worksheet, this table will be alive for you. Once you are out of that session, gone. Okay. There is no time travel or anything. Okay. For this, there is no time travel or not.
So then it should be 0, right?
So it should be 0. Ideally, we can say it's a 0, but you cannot. So what is, if the session alive, technically how we need to talk is, if session is not killed, session is keep on activating for you. Okay. The table will be available for you. Okay. So what happen is, when the table will be available for you in that same session, what will happen is you will able to access this table will be available for 1 day. So time travel is also 1 day. Technically, it's a 1 day, but ideally, when you talk about theoretically, when you say there is no time travel for this, once it is dropped, there is nothing, no way you can able to bring it back.
Okay.
Okay. So example, I would say by default, it's a 1. Okay. By default, it's a 1. It can leave for a 1 day. Okay. Within that 1 day, within the session, whatever you want to do it, you can do it. Okay. Session specific table. Within that session, whatever you want to do it, you can do it. Okay. So in permanent table, let me, so anybody have any other questions? Let me quickly go to the other ones.
so what will happen if we close the virtual data warehouse?
Virtual data warehouse. Close the virtual data warehouse means?
Suppose our data warehouse is running, right? We stopped it, and what will happen with the temporary table? Still, it is there, or that will get vanished?
Session will be there or not, you're saying. Okay, so you're saying, so we didn't talk about it. You are talking about this warehouse, I believe.
Yes, yes.
Right. So I think we'll come to that point, but what happens is, yeah, if you think that this your query, you are running this one, okay, you're running this one, and you have went ahead and you have stopped this virtual warehouse. Okay, warehouses will not automatically. So when you click stop, it will not stop automatically. So what will happen is it will make sure the queries which are there, right, which are queries which are running, once it is completed, then only your warehouse is going to stop. Okay, so that means your session will still alive for you. If you want to kill the query, then kill the query, then query will get updated. If you kill the warehouse, what warehouse will do is, warehouse will make sure what are the queries which is already in memory to run it. right? Then what will happen is it will execute that queries, then only it is going to stop. Okay, there is a reason for that also. We will discuss when we go into warehouses. To your question, no, it will not stop. Okay, your session is still alive. There is nothing related with this warehouse with the temporary tables. Okay, your session is, this warehouse is not going to create your session. Okay, this warehouse will help you to run this particular queries, but this worksheet defines such a sessions.
Okay.
Every connection makes the sessions. Okay, any other questions? Yeah. Okay, just give me a second, guys. Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, dynamic tables, and then we want to discuss is iceberg tables, right? So let me put this one. Okay, next one is a transient tables. Okay, so transient tables, right? So transient tables, what purpose we will use it? So anybody knows, anybody have used transient tables? Anybody use transient tables?
For data loading purpose.
Yeah, all tables are for data loading only. Tables are for to store a data, right? So what is the speciality of this transient tables? Anybody business analyst over here who worked as a business analyst?
Live data.
Not live data also. Okay. So let me tell you that, right? So transient tables are usually what happens is, these are also type of a permanent tables. Before we understand transient table, let me quickly go to permanent tables. So what is permanent tables are very simple. Okay. Data will get stored until you drop it. Okay. Table will still exist till you drop it. Manually you go and run, drop table name. Okay. Until that, this table will be still available for you. Okay, there is no problem. Okay, time travel is going to be 90 days. Okay, you can configure this also. You can change if you want, because time travel is nothing but what is time travel we discussed. So any changes which made in the past. Okay, so that past information you can able to bring it at any point in time. Okay, for a 90 days, right? For a 90 days, it will able to capture the previous 90 days, whatever the changes happened on that particular table, it captures. So you can go back to that 90 days if you want to bring any of the snapshot of that particular tables, right? So particular day. So example now, I would say December 1st, whatever the changes happened on that particular table. Till that point, I need the table how it was. Okay, you can go back. Okay, so you can do all this kind of stunts. Okay, this can be configurable. So what is happening here, right? Just try to understand. Okay, so when I say a table changes, whatever changes happen for the last 90 days, it is capturing somewhere else that doesn't know, right? It is capturing somewhere. That is capturing that information means it is going to store some information. Okay, it's going to store every change of a snapshot. Okay, if Soumya made changes on a December 1st, some changes. So then what will happen? Snowflake identify someone made some changes on this table on a December 1st, take that snapshot, keep it in a memory, keep it stored somewhere. Okay, then what happened is Ganesh made some changes on top of this on December 3rd, take that snapshot also. Okay, keep it in memory. Okay, like that. For 90 days, how many changes you made it, right? It has to store that all information. As it has to store all this information, there will be a storage cost also for that. Okay, additional storage cost will be there. Okay, you agree this with me? So it has to store everyone as usual, right? So it has to store all the changes. As Snowflake is going to store all the changes now. So what is happening is they will be putting in an extra charges for you. Okay, now you say that's okay, we don't need to go that much back. I want to configure it very less. Okay, that much changes if it is happened. If their storage cost is going to increase, what I'll do is I don't want that 90 days of this one. What I'll do is I will reduce this time travel to 10 days. That means any changes which has happened, last 10 days is something I might interested to get back into your information. Okay, so you can able to configure this. Okay, this can be configured only for a permanent tables. Okay, it can be configured only for a permanent tables. Okay, 90 days, and then you have a fail-safe is for the 7 days. Okay. Permanent tables will have a fail-safe for a 7 days. Okay. So again, here what happens is there are two editions, right? Standard edition, right? Standard edition, the time travel of that permanent table is going to be 1 day. Okay. 1 day. And fail-safe, no fail-safe. Okay. No fail-safe. When you go greater than standard editions, okay, that means you have all your enterprise edition, business critical editions, and your private editions, right? So from all these editions, what will happen is your time travel is going to be a 90 days by default. You can configure this one, okay? And then fail-safe is going to be your 7 days. Okay, so let me put this here. Okay, your permanent tables are going to be it will not get dropped until you drop it manually. Okay, so let me go here. Time travel for a standard is going to be 1 day, no fail safe. When you are into a standard edition, when you are using a standard edition, Snowflake will not give this information to you. All greater than standard editions, you are going to get a 90 days of your time travels, which is going to be configurable. Okay, and then your fail safe is going to be a 7 days. So failsafe is something which cannot be directly accessed by us. So you have to raise an incidents with the Snowflake team to get back that particular information for you. Okay. At what purposes this information will be using is all the important data, right? All the important data, you have to go with the permanent tables. Okay. All the customer information, all the sales information, all this information, what you need to do is you have to go with the permanent tables. Okay, so you cannot able to digest that if this particular data goes, your business is going to impact if some data is missing. In that cases, you always should go with the permanent tables because you have a 90 days of a time travel is there and there is a 7 days of fail safe is also there. Okay, so these particular tables in the projects where what type of tables, if you think that particular table is a very important table, we cannot lose it. Okay, if by mistake also someone drops the table, how can we bring back the data even after a week or even after a 1 month? Okay, in that cases, we will be designing the tables, will be having this permanent tables. Okay, can you please go on mute, Sanjay? So does this make sense? So permanent tables is nothing but we have created a first sales table. Okay, that you will be still seeing under our schema, right? This particular table, you see here, this particular table is our normal table. Okay, sales tables is a temporary permanent table. So for permanent table, you don't have any particular syntax. You don't need to put anything called as in a permanent, like how we have kept it for a temporary table. Okay, so does this make sense, everyone?
Krishna, what will happen if you want to go beyond 90 days data? So if you want to know, yeah.
Only 90 days is something is there. Okay. Beyond if you want to go it, right? So what you can do is you can make sure this data is you can beyond this data 90 days, you have to take a backups. You have to continuously take a backups. You have to design your databases like this, take a continuous backups. And every backup you're taking, which is going to get another 90 days.
But data recovery is different, right? Even you can take 3 years data also, right, from the database.
Not that backup, I mean to say that. So what happens is, so what example now take, like I'll go to the one example. Okay? So what happens is table is there. Okay, 90 days time travel is there. Okay, so you dropped table on January 1st. Okay, I'm just saying 90 days, January 1st, you dropped a table. Okay, so then January 1st plus 90 days is equals to till that particular point in time, 89 days. Okay, let's call it as 89 days. Okay, so till this many times, this table is still can be accessible for you. Okay, does it make sense? This one you agree? Okay, let's think that this is 90 days means you're going to get almost a March 31st. Till March 31st, you can able to get this particular table which you dropped. Okay, once you undrop the table on March 31st. Okay, March, I'm just giving a drop as a one example. You can go back to the data also. I'll tell you the data also. Okay, March 31st, you undrop the table. So that means you brought up the table back into your databases. Again, there is a 90 days time travel being applied on top of it. Okay, it will get automatically applied for you on top of it. Okay, so no, not 90 days, Krishna. I want to go beyond this one. Okay, so if you think 90 days is a good number they have given, Ganesh. So what if you think that there is a very important table for you, and for 90 days you are not realizing, as a company you are not realizing that particular table is not being dropped, and you are not realizing, probably that table is not that important table for you. Okay, so if your company really needs something like that, right, so they have to, you can create scripts, right? So you can create a stored process. We'll learn that one. We'll create a stored processor, identify what are all the tables are created, and check how many days it's been the table has been created, what is the time travel being created on the table, and start undropping it. Okay, start undropping it. Your table is going to be available all the time. Okay, you have to write a logic for that. So as a Snowflake company is giving 90 days. So it makes sense. Even 90 days, if you ask me, we have kept as a 15 days in our accounts. Okay, so 90 days is unnecessary cost for me. 15 days is also a cost for me. Okay, but as some of the important tables are available, we designed to have a time travel is only for 17 days, 15 days. Okay, so now I want to go more and more beyond, then you have to go with the taking undropping it. So automatically when you undrop it, it is going to be getting another 90 days on top of it. Okay.
Krishna?
Yeah.
Krishna, in this case, what is failsafe for 7 days?
What? Yeah, fail safe, right? So 90 days is completed, right? Time travel 90 days, you didn't realize it. Okay. After 90 days, you don't have any way that you can able to undrop this table. Then what will happen is after 90 days, this particular table will move into fail safe. Okay. So 90 days of your time travel is equals to 90 days plus fail safe is equals to 7 days. Okay, so totally is equals to 97 days. 97 days you have a recovery time. Okay, 90 days is in your hands. You can able to run your commands and you can able to bring it up. Okay, after 90 days on that particular table is completed, it will go into a fail safe. Okay, and fail safe 7 days will be there, but you have to ask your Snowflake team to get back that particular table into a table. So this is something as a free which comes directly using some commands. Fail safe something you have to raise an incident and work with the Snowflake team to get it. Total your recovery days is a 97 days. Okay, does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, Krishna. Thank you.
Pradeep, vacuum is the same thing. Okay, so vacuum is also same thing. Does that means we write a SQL during time travel to retrieve the data and failsafe needs reach admin? Yeah, correct. Yes, Soumya. So failsafe time travel when we are learning, we will write a literal commands that we will learn how to write the commands. Okay. Yeah. So does that make sense, Ganesh? Ganesh.
Yes, Krishna. Actually, it's something like a point in time recovery. So 90 days, suppose 45th,
Yes.
the exact time where all the database is there, right?
Right. So time travel have 3 concepts. Okay, time travel says at or before, at what time or before what time. Okay, so we will be learning this one. So at what day, at what time, before what day, before what time also you can go it. Okay, and you can go with a literal timestamp of a milliseconds also. That also you can use it and you can get that particular. So when you call it as a point in time recovery, right? So that we can use it and we can go back. Okay, so ideally, so I'm saying, right, as a developers, we can able to do this time travel easily by running commands. What actually happens in a current companies? Anybody knows? Anybody know that? Think that you have an Oracle. Okay, I'll mention down. You have an Oracle table. Okay, and table got dropped. Okay, by mistake you dropped as a developer, right? This is time travel is something is a developer friendly. Okay, so usually freshers when they come into development environment, what they do is, but they don't know unintentionally, what they do is they simply drop it by misusing commands. They would have dropped it. Okay, but that table is very important to carry the development work now or testing something. Okay, so that table is dropped. What is the usual things happens in a projects? Anybody face this issue?
You need to raise an incident to connect to the DBA to get the retrieve the data
Rise with the
table
DB.
back.
So what are all the inputs you need to give to them?
So what are the database and what is the table name? So all
Table
those
name,
information.
what time you have done it. Okay.
Yes.
How much
Schema
time
name.
it takes? How much time for you to do this whole process and get back the table into your databases, including SLA I'm talking. Minimum 1 day.
On yeah, yes, can say that.
So now I say that this can be done in 2 seconds. Okay. So that's how the time travel helps you as a friend, developer friendly. Okay. So we will learn this, how it is going to be useful for us. Okay. So now, which is a lot of activity, DBAs are very adamant. Okay. I don't know any DBAs are there in this group. Okay. But that's okay. So DBAs are very adamant because they would be busy with optimizing and databases, make sure it is an active, and all the lot of tools in your landscape will be connected to the databases. They have their own headaches. Okay. If you raise an incident, usually SLA will be 3 days. If they are doing work in a 1 day, is like a very good DBA, you got it in your team. Okay. So this something can be done within a 2 seconds if you know the commands. Okay. So we will learn this. I don't go more details in this one. Okay. So anybody have questions on this permanent or a temporary? Okay. So now I'll go to the transient tables, right? So transient tables are also going to be similar like a permanent tables. Okay. So now the question is, permanent tables are there, why we are introducing this transient tables again? Okay. No, I want to do more cost optimization using some other tables, but it should not be a permanent tables. Okay. So what is that one? So transient tables are also tables will exist until you manually drop it. Okay. Drop it as like your permanent tables, that nothing like a special session tables. Your session closes, it will get closed. You don't see that. Okay. And these permanent tables can be accessed by everyone, right? So you can see in every session, you can able to see the tables. You create a table that will be available in each session. Okay. Similarly, transient tables are also accessed by everyone. Okay. It will be available in all the sessions and can be accessed by everyone. Okay. As like a permanent tables. Okay. Next one. What happens is transient tables, your time travel is going to be very less. Okay. That is also here also default is going to be 1 day. Okay. And here also the failsafe is also going to be a failsafe is available. Some versions, right? They say this is one little tricky. Here also failsafe is available here for 7 days they call. And some places they say that there is no failsafe for the transient tables. Okay. It deviates from a session additions to additions. Okay. So this has got little bit changed now. Okay. I believe from a business critical onwards, they have started activating to have a failsafe. Standard and enterprise editions, transient tables, they are not going to have a failsafe they are calling. Okay. So it's again based on the versions what the companies are using instead, they will be using this particular failsafe. Okay. So what happens is either failsafe will be available, think that failsafe is available or not. Okay. So think one major thing you have to keep in mind here when you're discussing tables, right? Wherever you are going to have a time travel and failsafe, those tables are going to be a costly tables. Okay. So because it is going to store an additional storage for us. Okay. So failsafe is also going to have an additional storage for additional storage because Snowflake is storing it somewhere where they are going to help you to get the data back for you because they have to store it. They also have to store it. Okay. They won't be having any magic dust of getting this information back into your databases because they store it from there. They will get it and recover it. Okay. So now they are also going to do it. Okay. What is the difference between your temporary table and transient table is transient table will get dropped as soon as your session is closed. Transient tables will be available until you drop that particular table. Okay. The time travel of the transient table and your temporary table is going to be a 1 day. Okay. And your failsafe for now think failsafe, this also doesn't have it. Okay. So think that this also doesn't have a failsafe. Transient tables also doesn't have a failsafe. Okay. So what is the purpose these tables will be used, Krishna? Okay. Majorly business analyst. Right. So what business analysts will be doing is, what is the main action is they will be writing a SQL queries. Major big SQL queries they will be writing. They will be joining multiple tables. Okay, tables, they will write a logics to derive some particular tables, case statements, they will be writing many things. Okay, but they will be always having the logic handy. Okay, They will be having always a logic handy, and the logic will be always there handy. Okay. And whatever the business analyst has created a data, right? They will not use the data directly to do their all the business, analysis, or they will be not doing. What they do is they will save this data. Okay. What they do is they will be writing one SQL query. Okay. With 100 lines of some tables. This data, they want to store it into one table. Okay. This is a temporarily, they want to store this data for some while, means for next 1 week or 1 month, like that, they will store it. And then what they do is they will use this table as a source to do some more analysis. Okay. This is majorly only for analysis. Okay. Once after this analysis is totally completed, what they do is they will submit these queries to dashboard teams, right? Power BI teams or Tableau teams. They will submit these queries to them to generate the dashboards. Okay. Until that point, to run all analytics, they want to run it on their own, like a Snowflake, worksheets, like a Python, something. They will write it. They will be writing the SQL queries. They will be storing the data temporarily somewhere. Okay. So now, business analyst, for these people, what we need to do is the tables they are creating, that is needed only for some time, some certain period. Okay. So 1 week or 2 weeks or 10 weeks, like that. Okay. They don't need it permanently. Okay. If this table by mistake also they drop it. Okay. By mistake also they drop this particular table. Okay. So they have a logic is handy available. They can able to recreate that particular table. Okay. Now, but they don't want the table immediately the session is get closed. They don't want the table to be dropped, because tomorrow they can't run the whole logic to get that particular table to be regenerated. Okay. What they do, their intention is, I want to run my particular queries right now and store the data into the tables. Okay. And tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll start continuing my particular analysis from that particular point in time. Okay. So in that cases, what they do is they will use a transient tables. Okay. So for this time travel, we are not having, because they don't need a time travel here, because they have a logic handy, they can able to recreate it. Okay.
Krishna, it's just like in a reporting, we'll have a backend queries, right? So it's just like that wise, right?
So that is only queries, right? It will not store the information.
No,
here
this table act like that, right? Like I have some reports,
okay,
which will be used by user,
okay,
which will have more logics and all.
Yeah,
so basically, the developer will run that query and store the data in that table, and the end user or business user use that table to do their analysis.
But the table will lies all the time, no? So that means the table, what happens is, if you can drop the table, so that's a permanent table again, right? There is in a reporting, there are no different types of tables. Once you drop the table is dropped, right? You cannot get it back. Okay, but this table you can get it back for 1 day. Okay, so let me.
Oh, this is like a temporary table itself. This table will not be dropped, right?
Let me complete that. Probably that might.
Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, don't worry, no price. Okay, what I'll do is I'll quickly create this table. Okay, so what I'll do is create. Okay, transient. Okay, transient table. Okay, sales underscore trans. Okay, I'm just going to create in a table. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll simply create one sales ID, same thing. Okay, okay, so let's understand this is not a temporary table first. Okay, so I'm running this. What happened? Varchar sales ID, Varchar, and this one table name. Let's see. Anything you guys seeing something is wrong here? And position 9 Varchar. Okay, fine. Okay, let's call it as an integer. Or let's call it as a number. Number. Create table, transient tables, transient table name, and anything you guys see something is mistake over here.
Yeah, instead of bracket, they are using for curly brace.
I think the spelling
The
is
line number
wrong.
9.
Transient.
Transient table. Yeah, transient.
Transient. Can anyone spells that? Transient. 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 Okay. Okay, one sec. I will be having here. Yeah, transient. Sorry. Okay, let me go back here. Transient. My bad spellings. Okay, so transient table. Now I'll go back. I'll create this. Okay, transient table is created. Let me quickly go create transient table. We have views for that, right? Why do we need transient tables again? Views, you cannot store the data. Okay, I want to store the data. Okay, so you can create a views all the time. Okay, but I want to see the data. Some analysis I have to create and I want to load this. So non-important data. Okay, so if you want to load some data which you want to store it, okay, and you want a non-important data, and this has to be dropped. Okay, so if someone drops this table also, you should not have any worry about it. Okay, you can create views also. If you want to create a logic, you can create a views. Usually if you create means that means that you are going to use that views for a different logics. Okay, you are going to access for somehow that reasons. Okay, so every time they can't, so every time logic, what happens is business analyst continuously will changing the logic and running that queries. Okay, so views all the time, you cannot, every time you cannot deploy that views, right? You cannot change the views and recreate the view. What they do is they simply write some transient table like this. Okay, and they will start loading the data. Okay, so I'll tell you how they will write also. Okay, so first thing is I have created this table. Okay, temporary table cannot be accessed across different sessions. But when I go here, I have opened a different session. I could able to see this one. So that means I can able to select this data. Okay, let me place this one. Okay, I'll just. Okay, I can able to access this table. That means this is different from your session specific table that is called as a temporary table. Okay, transient table can be picked up from a different particular. So okay, if you see here, transient tables can be picked up from a different sessions also. It is accessible from a different sessions and it can be accessed by every people. Okay, so now what I'll do is show tables like, and I'll just put this particular table. Okay, we'll see the details. Okay, so now I'm saying what is the time travel and everything for this, right? So let's check out this one. Okay, so now you see what kind of table it is. It's a transient table I have created. This is a particular time it is got created for me. And if you see number of rows is fine. Retention time is nothing but your time travel. Okay, in case if your table is getting dropped, you can able to get back the table via 1 day. Okay, so retention time, right? It's a very important question I missed. Okay, I'll put it here. Days. Okay, one parameter. Okay, this is very, very important. Okay, time. Okay, data retention is in. One sec. Data retention days. Okay, so this is very, very important parameter. Okay, we'll talk about this. This is very important to define. I said it configurable for the permanent, right? So how can you configurable that one is using this parameter? I'll keep it here. We'll discuss this. Okay, how to set and unset on the tables and a database and schemas. How can you do this? Also, we have to learn it. Very important interview questions. Okay, so before that, let me go here. Okay, so now automatically it is created 1 day session because it's a transient. It is automatically decided. We have when we decided. As a transient, it understand retention time is going to be a 1 day for it. Okay, and then we have fail safe. Let's go. Is external? No, it's not an external. Okay, it is not showing fail safe here. Okay. Okay. Fail safe, it is not showing here. Okay, so fail safe anyway for this particular table is going to be a 0 days. Okay, so retention, when I say this particular table is accessible, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this table. Okay, drop. I'm going to drop this table. Okay, I've dropped the table. Okay, I'm going to check the tables. Okay, there are no tables for me. Okay, when we discuss there is a time travel for this particular table is a 1 day. Okay, so let's go undrop table. Okay, here also it is not there. Okay, it is just showing it's gone. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to undrop this. Okay, table got undropped for me and table is back for me. Okay, so but this undropping, I mean time travels, right? So whatever it is, okay, the time travel for this particular table is going to be a 1 day for us. Okay, the time travel is going to be only 1 day for us. Okay, and fail safe is also going to be 0 days for us. Okay, so this transient table works like in a permanent tables until this will be available until you drop it and can be accessible across your worksheets or sessions. Okay, and only difference is there is no time travel for this one, 1 day time travel for this one, and no failsafe for this one. In case someone by mistake also drops this transient tables, you cannot able to retrieve back after a 1 day. Okay, so does that make sense? So now example for sales we have created as a permanent table. Okay, so I'm going here. Okay, so sales we have done. So sales is a permanent table for us. Okay, here also retention time is 1 day because we are into an enterprise editions and free trial, right? So because we are into a free trial, so we are going to get only this much. Okay, we are not going to get high. Okay, and then no clustering and nothing been activated on this, right? So nothing been activated on this. Okay. So we are onto a free trial. So free trial will always give a retention, very less retention for us. Okay, so when you go into an actual accounts, when we create an actual accounts, what will happen is you will be getting in a for permanent tables will be like 90 days, and for for all other tables you are going to get only 1 day by default. Okay, so now how can you set a data retention times in a days? Okay,
Krishna, I just have like
yeah,
the retention is for schema also, right? Can you go to the schema?
Yeah, for schemas, everything, right? So let me go to schema.
So this table will get inherited from schema, correct? If the schema is having 90 days, then the table will also have 90 days, correct?
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you that also. Yeah, okay, the schema, if you see here, schema will have databases every hierarchy, right? So let's say, let me tell you that hierarchy also. Database, schema, okay, and then tables. Okay, this is the hierarchy. Okay, so now I'll tell you the same thing. So what happen is if your table doesn't have any retentions, okay, think the based on your permanent tables, so only permanent tables. Okay, transient tables anyway by default, when you mention the keywords called as a transient and a temporary, that corresponding retentions whatever is there that will get activated. Okay, for permanent tables, okay, think that your permanent tables you have created a schema with a retention time as 10 days. Okay, 10 days that will get inherited to your table automatically. Permanent tables, only permanent tables. I'm talking again permanent tables. Okay, anybody have questions why I'm talking about a permanent tables? Is everyone understand why I'm stressing the word called as in a permanent tables here? Okay, so if you make the retention on a schema level to have it only for 10 days, the permanent tables in your tables list is going to inherit that particular 10 days. Okay, unless you explicitly mention for that particular table to have it as a less number of days. More number of days will not work. Less number of tables will work. Okay, so now example, this schema have a 10 days. In this table list, there is a sales permanent table. Okay, sales permanent table. I have overridden that particular inherited value with 5 days. Okay, then that particular table retention is being reduced to 5 days. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, in a similar fashion, the parent is going to be your database. On a database level, if you have set the retention for some days, okay, that will get inherited to this one. Okay, unless you are explicitly mentioned. Example, now I have mentioned databases as 100. Okay, database as 100 days I have given a retention, but on a schema level I have mentioned it as 10 days. This schema is overwritten to have only for 10 days. Okay, okay, and table you have changed to sales as 5 minutes. Okay, so now your table is going to have only 5 days. and your schema is going to have only 10 days, and your database is going to have 100 days. Okay. If you do it reverse way, okay, database is 5 days. Okay. Your schema is 10 days. Yeah, schema is 10 days. Okay. Your table is going to have 100 days. Okay. If you think like this, your database is get dropped. Okay. After 5 days, there is, if once your database is dropped, whatever is there inside that particular schemas or tables or views, whatever is everything get drops. Okay. If you drop this particular schema, so drop this particular database. Okay. If you drop this particular database, automatically all your schemas under tables under your schemas, everything will get dropped for you. Okay. On a database level, you have given only 5 days of time to retain that particular database in time travel way. You can able to retrieve it back. Okay. After these 5 days, you cannot able to retrieve anything, though you have given 100 days for this table. Okay. So you can have in this way inheritance, but you cannot have in this way. Okay. So if your parent is having less, the same will be replicated to your child. Okay. Does this make sense to everyone? Ganesh, does this make sense now?
Yes, Krishna. While creating itself, it will give error, right? If you increasing the schema is less and the
No,
table
it will
is
not
less.
give you error. It will not give you error. It will not. It will never throw an error. It will not look after this one is having retention this much. We are giving greater than. It will not throw an error. It will allow you, but ideally you should see, right. Your database is designed for 5 days. It is based to have design your tables for 100 days. Okay. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. I'll stop with this one for now. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So keep a look on this one also. Transient tables we discussed, but we will again we will discuss once again. Okay. And I'll fill this box. Okay. And then we can easily able to compare it. Okay. Any questions from anyone?
Sir, what are the use cases of each of these? Meaning, like in which cases you use which ones?
So temporary tables, I mentioned intermediate data, right? So you have a SQL query you're running, okay, intermittently in that same session. Okay. That means you are running a query. Now, example. Okay. This is the session. I have loaded some data into sales, and this sales table, I'm going to use it in some place in the same session, in the same worksheet only. Okay. I'm going to use this particular table to join with another table. Okay. Then after that particular query is executed, you don't need this table to be available for you. In that cases, go with a temporary table.
Okay.
Okay. Some data which you need it any time in point in time, today or next 1 year or next 2 years also, you need the table data to be available. Okay. And that table should not get dropped unless you are dropping it. Then go with a permanent table. And it's a very important data for you. Go with the permanent tables. Okay.
Okay.
So transient tables, the table should be existing until you drop it. Okay. Even though the table drops you, it's okay for you. It's not very important data. You can able to regenerate that data. Okay. Not very important for you. You have to do some storage optimization and cost optimization on that particular table. Then go with the transient tables.
Okay.
Okay. So based on the importance of a data, decide that what type of tables you want to go. Okay. Even in the projects also, real-time projects also, based on the importance of a data and availability of the data, we will be designing what kind of tables we need.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
What is the by default value for a permanent table for the time travel?
By 90 days.
When we are creating, that will automatically define value as in 90 days.
90 days. Yeah. So,
okay.
So what happens is, let me quickly show one. Yeah, I want to show somewhere I was writing parameters. Okay, show parameters, right? Account level, whatever the parameter setup has happened. So you can see like this. Retention, anybody can say, what is the spelling of it? Okay. Wait, there is no retention. So parameters. Go here. Okay, so you see here, maximum data extinction. No, this is not. Yeah, data retention times in days, right? So you see here, my data retention time in days is 1 day. Okay, we are using a trial version, so they reduced it to 1 day. So when you really go with an enterprise edition, paid versions are there, right? So you will be getting as a 90 days, 90 days for all the temporary tables. So 90 days all for the permanent tables. Okay, by default it will come like this. Your admins will be changing from a 90 days to 10 days, 15 days, based on your company will decide that how much really they want it. Okay, so this parameter defines that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it.
Tomorrow we'll set this one. This is very, very important. Okay, we will be expecting this question many times in the interviews, how we are going to design this. Okay, yeah, I'll take question. I still don't get the difference between transient tables and views. So transient tables, right? So what happens is, now I'll write this query. Create table sales, okay, as select star from sales product inner join with sales date on something inner join sales location. Okay, so I'm a business analyst. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm writing some logic like this. Okay, I've created this table. So what is this table is? This is a transient table. Okay, this is a transient table I'm creating. Okay, create or replace. Okay, this is the table I'm creating. Okay, so what happened is I have created this one. I've created this table and I have a select statement below. Okay, select star from, okay, this particular table sales. Okay, I will write a logic. So I know something. I have business analyst. I have written a logic. I have created this table. I'll go here. I'll check the data, how it is. Okay, I found out something is not correct here. Let's change this logic from sales location to, okay, sales info. Okay, and I have recreated this. I have executed this and I'm running this. Okay, so think that as in a data analyst, is it easy for me to run like this? Okay, to do all this one, else are you want me to create every time a view on top of a particular table? So how can you create this view on top of a table, right? So view is some, you can create a view. So I don't say that you cannot create a view. Okay, so what you will be doing is you will be always creating a view or every time. Okay, and that view, end of the day, view is a permanent view. Okay, so what will happen is on views there is no transients, nothing like that. Okay, on views there is no time travels also for you. Okay, so what happened is, this is nothing, this is not needed for me at all. This is all I'm doing is only for my analytical purpose. Okay, here also what happened is, for view you won't be getting a transient, for view you won't be getting a time travel. There is only time travels will be there on a tables because it stores the data. Okay, views will not have any information. Okay, so think that you have created a view and you are running it, but business analyst, I want something which I have seen yesterday. There was some result came in. I want that particular time is, at particular time I have executed this particular thing and I want that particular data. How can you do with the view? View, you cannot do it. Okay, if you would have created a transient table has a 1 day transient time travel. You just go back there, whatever the query you have executed, bring back that result for you. Okay, for that result, you know what is the queries you have executed. Okay, so that way you can use it your transient. View will not have any kind of time travels. Okay, and view is always a permanent artifact. Okay, does that make sense? Ravi?
Yeah.
I'll do that. That's not right. Yeah. Okay, so let's bring up yeah, so what I'll do is I'll wind up for now. So Ravi, just remember me this much. First one, let's have one more example of creating a view. So instead of creating a view, when we go into view, we'll understand. I'll try to give another example how we can able to do it. Okay, so don't worry, but just remember me in tomorrow morning class.
Whether view will occupy storage?
View will occupy not so what kind of view you are going to create again? Okay, there are different views are available. So based on your views, if you are creating a materialized views, yes, there is a storage. Okay, so if you are going with the regular views, there is no storage. If you are going for a secured views will be, there will be a slight cost for it because it has to a securization will happen over there, but no storage cost. Okay, so views are again different views. So we have to be specific that what views we are talking about.